It's Wednesday. It's first pitch. I'm excited. Dave Cokin, the legend himself, and my daily co-host with us. And the 2018 champ at wagertalk.com. Highest earner for his customers, Dwayne Bryant. Dwayne, how the hell are you, brother?
Pretty good. How are you?
No complaints, man. Just enjoying a coffee, hanging out with the two of you, and hoping to have a good day. Dave, what's going on with you, brother? Anything you want to talk about?
Well, I eventually settled on 2 games last night, and both dogs, they both won. And I'll just mention this because it is something that should be mentioned. I put them up fairly late, and so I did not sell these games individually at Wager Talk. But if you're an all-access subscriber, you got the 2 games. You picked up over 9% last night because the Astros and Angels were both dogs. Both got there. So that's the benefit of being an all-access subscriber. I don't have anything up yet today, so I might not sell a featured game, but I will have plays for my all-access players later on.
And that's such a great point, Dave. Listen, guys, we got to give out a couple of promo codes, and then we'll get straight to it. Every day we're going to be giving out a promo code for a featured handicapper at Sports Memo and Wager Talk. And today's Wager Talk handicapper is Bobby Liggs. Bobby swept yesterday the WNBA 2-0, and he is lifetime. Get this, 97-64 lifetime in WNBA. It's absolute free money. We've been pushing his WNBA over and over and over again. Today it's $7.50 for his NBA. Use the promo code BX50. That's BX50. It's $7.50 for Bobby Liggs' WNBA. And as far as Sports Memo goes, Hunter Engelhart. He is a very rare 5-unit play tonight over at sportsmemo.com, and it's yours for $10. Use the promo code HUNTER, HUNTER, over at sportsmemo.com. Okay, guys, let's get to it. Dave, we'll go to you first, and then Dwayne. Miami Marlins playing the Washington Redskins. I'm kidding there, Dave. Miami lost last night 3-2. Big favorite today. Washington at anywhere from minus 250 to a minus 270 at Bovada. Alcantara versus Strasburg. Over and under is 9.5. Mr. Cokin, where are you going in this game?
Nowhere. Looks like a good number. Alcantara is an all-star for the Miami Marlins. They had to take somebody, so he's the guy. And Strasburg is a much better pitcher, and the Nationals are playing great baseball right now. Price looks about right.
Dwayne, any thoughts on this one?
I'm going to look at these from a totals perspective, as always. A slight lean to the over. I know when you see Strasburg and a number at 9.5, it looks really easy to go under. But Alcantara at home, 2.32 strikeouts per walk, a 126 whip. But you get him on the road as he is today, that strikeout per walk ratio is down to 0.88. The whip is up to 160, and the xFIP is up to 621. The Nationals averaging 4.5 runs in home night game. They should be able to get something done against him at home today. Strasburg at home is a 4.71 ERA and a 3.19 ERA on the road, but yet it's the xFIPs are pretty similar. 3.35 at home, 3.26 on the road. Miami definitely not known for their offense, averaging 4 runs in road night games against righties, which is actually a good number for them. But the difference for me is we got 2 bad bullpens in this game, so we should see plenty of late runs. So I'm going to lean to the over.
He's Dwayne Bryant. You can find him at wagertalk.com. number one return on investment handicapper at Wager Talk in 2018. I was number 2 and Dave Cokin number 3, and all three of us are on First Pitch every single Wednesday. Let's get to the Pittsburgh-Chicago Cubs game. Pittsburgh won last night 5-1, beat the Cubs, beat them 2 in a row, have won 5 of their last 7 games. The Cubs have lost 3 in a row right now. They're minus 135. The over and under is 9.5 in this game. Darvish versus Archer. I like the over in this game. Dwayne will talk about the total in a second. Dave Cokin, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's really tough to trust the Cubs as road favorites because they're just not getting a job done on the road. And again, last night they get held down by Musgrove and then the bullpen after the rain delay. And the Pirates get a fairly easy win as they stretch that one out to 5-0 before the Cubs got a late run. Darvish, well, he's certainly pitching at a higher level than he was earlier in the season. So his overall numbers are a bit skewed in terms of where he's actually pitching right now. I don't trust Chris Archer much, but at the price, what is it, 132 now? I think it's gone up to the point where you can make a small case for the Pirates. I priced this at 115. That's where it opened. The market has dictated where the value now, and I would lean to Pittsburgh here.
Dwayne, as I said, I like the over in this game. You know, both pitchers inconsistent or consistently mediocre at best. I think we're going to see some runs.
I agree. I do lean to the over in this game also. Darvish has actually been better on the road than at home, but still nothing, special there. The Pirates do hit righties well as far as the advanced metrics. They have a 113 WRC plus, which means they're 13% above league average. Archer has just been a major disappointment for Pittsburgh. He's facing a pretty good Cubs lineup that averages 5.3 runs in road night games against righties. And while the Pittsburgh pen is pretty bad, so we should see some late runs in this game also, and that should push it over.
Bear in mind, both bullpens got used up last night because of the rain delay, so that they'll have a couple less arms each available tonight.
Dave, yesterday's show, I told you Cincinnati, Milwaukee under the total. I thought 10.5 was too big, and since he has been playing to the under, just like one of the best bets in baseball right now. It was 10.5. It ended 5-4, a Cincinnati win, a nice win by them. Today they find themselves minus 130 with Gray on the mound. Over and under, there's 10s. There's a couple of 9.5s out there. I'm going right back to the well on the under. I see no reason to change. Where are you going in this game?
No, I can't disagree with that. I think 10.5 was high on the open, and now we're seeing it as low as 9.5 with the over juiced. The 10.5s are gone. 10's the lowest, the highest you'd see. I think that number was set high because of Julius Chassin, who's been really bad for the Brewers. He's a one-trick pony. He's got to have the slider working. He doesn't have anything else. Gray is, when Gray's got the curve working, I mean, he's dynamite. I won't bet this in all likelihood. I think the Reds are the right side. I am still extremely hesitant to lay a price with them, and that's what's going to keep me off it. They're just a very unreliable baseball team. But the numbers do point to the Reds here.
Dwayne, as I said, I like the under. Cincinnati 29-52 to the under. Seems like something I'm just going to ride for a while.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I lean under here, especially with the number at 9.5 or 10. Even though, Chassin has been awful and he has been worse on the road. 6.94 ERA, 171 WHIP, 576 xFIP, all awful numbers. And the Reds do average 5.6 runs per home night game against righties. But Sonny Gray has been very solid, especially at home, 337. He's also backed by a pretty good bullpen. The Brewers bullpen isn't bad either. We also have Mike Estabrook behind the plate. Estabrook shows a strong under bias. So even though the Reds should get some runs off Chacin, we got two good bullpens and an under umpire. So I'm going to lean to the under in this one.
Philadelphia on the road playing Atlanta. A nice win yesterday, 2-0. Atlanta is minus 130. We literally just had a line move in mid-sentence. They're now minus 128 at some books. There's even a minus 124 on the board. The over and under is 11. I've been telling you all along to take Atlanta over the total since day one of the season. They're 46-36 to the over. It is a big number, however, Dave. Pivetta versus Wilson. Not the pitcher the home team would like to have starting, although he looks like he's going to be an opener. Talk to us.
No, he's a starting pitcher. He hasn't shown he's ready yet. Wilson's got a chance to be pretty good, but right now they're kind of stuck at the end of the rotation. So, and they're not alone in that regard. Pivetta, well, I'm not a Pivetta guy. I don't like Pivetta. He'll have the occasional good game, but his command just isn't good enough for him to be anything better than a mid to back of the rotation starter, and it's been more back than mid this season. We'll lean to the Braves here. The price is going to keep me off it. I think Atlanta wins, but I'm unwilling to lay the price in this game, so it's a definite pass for me.
Well, yeah, and I find it tough to lay the price in this game. I mean, Philly's playing good. They've won their last two. They've won 6 of 8. And I just can't put money down on Wilson right now. Dwayne, should I assume you're going to be riding this Atlanta over?
With a gun to my head, and if I had to play this game, I would play the over. Pivetta's just been mediocre on the road. He's facing a good Atlanta offense that averages 5.6 runs in home night games against righties. Wilson pitched 15 2/3 career innings, which haven't been good. And the Phillies, despite he only pitching 15-plus innings, the Phillies have already faced him once. And out of 12 plate appearances, they got 5 hits. 4 of them went for extra bases, 2 walks on top of that. Neither bullpen is top flight in my estimation. We also have Fielding Culbreth behind the plate. He has a slight over bias as well. He's been behind the plate in Atlanta 7 times since the 2013 season. 6 of those 7 games went over. So if I had to, I would bet the over in this one.
Guys, just remember, every day we're going to be giving out a promo code for a handicapper's package for that day today at wagertalk.com. It's Bobby Liggs. He is 63% lifetime in the WNBA. 63%. That is literally as good as it gets. He's going for his 5th straight winner across all sports tonight. It's a WNBA game. It's $7.50. Use the promo code BX50. That's BX50. Dave, let's talk San Diego against San Francisco. San Fran has won 3 in a row. San Diego has lost 3 in a row. The line opened at minus 150 to San Diego. It's been bet down to minus 123. The over and under is 8.5 in this game. What are you doing here?
Well, Anderson is showing some promise as a rookie for the Giants. Occasional first inning problems, but he's been okay. Not spectacular, but decent. Cal Quantrill goes for San Diego. He's not an opener by any means. I mean, he's going to go probably 4 or 5 innings if he's decent, and then he'll hand it off to the bullpen at that point. Padres will get Manny Machado back as he served his 1-game suspension last night. And San Diego going a little bit in the wrong direction right now. They've lost 3 in a row. And this has been the Padres all season. They have little streaks. And right now they're in a little bad streak. I can justify the price coming down here because that did look a little bit high on the Padres at 145. I think it's settled in at a pretty good number, however. So here's one where the market has probably taken me from a lean on the Giants to out of it. Plus 115 or plus 120, just not enough.
Dwayne, I'm passing on this game. I have no particular opinion. What are you thinking?
Again, if I had to bet this from a totals perspective, I'd lean under in this one. Anderson, he does have a 487 xFIP on the road, but the Padres are only averaging 3.6 runs in home night games against righties. Quantrill's got a 409 xFIP at home, which is decent. Something that surprises me, the Giants haven't been known for their offense up until the last few days. They're actually averaging 5.9 runs in road night games against righties this season. The over going 13-4 in those games. But both bullpens are solid. It hasn't shown lately. Both teams have below average WRC plus numbers against righties. So the smallest of leans to the under in this one.
Los Angeles Dodgers, 58-29 on the season, up 14.5 units of money for their customers on the money line. Hosting Arizona, 43-44 on the season. 73% of the tickets have been written on the Dodgers so far, and yet the line is coming down. So there's obviously a ton of money being put on Kelly in Arizona.
No, it's not a ton of money. Okay, it's just with 255s often come down. It doesn't take to bring it down.
Okay, well, it opened up at I've got 265 here. We're down to minus 225 at 5 dimes, but it's around minus 230, 8 on the board.
Yeah. It's 250, and then you go local in Nevada. It's still all 250, 240, 255, 260. So, I mean, it's not the money. The money's not coming in on the Dodgers, to be sure, but I wouldn't call it a ton of. I can guarantee you, it's not a ton of money on the Diamondbacks. Absolutely guarantee you that.
Okay. Well, what do you like in this game?
Well, I there's no way I can play the Diamondbacks here. I mean, that was a terrible way to lose a game last night. 5 straight 2-out walks in the bottom of the ninth. I don't even know if I've ever seen that before. And if I'm not mistaken, it was 0-2 on the first of those guys. So they're 1 strike away from winning the game. And then 5 straight walks, see ya. And Walker Buehler has been sensational. Look, I wouldn't lay this price, but I don't want the Diamondbacks in this situation.
Yeah, Buehler's pitched so well this year, and he's also got an incredible name. I like the over in this game, Dwayne. It's an 8 on the board. And both teams are putting up runs. You go through Arizona, 4 runs in each game in the last 3 games. The Dodgers 5-10, 3-9, 12. They're hitting the ball. I know Walker is good, but I can see this game being a 5-4 game.
Yeah, I don't have a strong opinion on this game. Again, if I had to play it from a totals perspective, I would lean slightly to the under, just because Buehler has been so dominant, especially at home. A 0.77 whip and a 320 xFIP. It's going to be hard for Arizona to score on him. The Dodgers' pen is decent, not great. The Arizona pen is okay based on the advanced metrics that I look at. If the game's going to go over, it's going to be the Dodgers putting a bunch of runs on Kelly early in this game. He hasn't been that good on the road. But having said that, again, if I had to play this game, it would be a small play to the under.
Guys, don't forget, we're giving out a promo code every day now on the show for one handicapper at Sports Memo, one handicapper at Wager Talk. Hunter is the promo code over at Sports Memo. For Hunter's 5% play, it's only $10. Dave, we spoke about Boston and Toronto yesterday. I said this game was going to go over the total. There was going to be a ton of hits. That is what happened. But tonight we've got Sale on the mound. Minus 270 for Boston. The over and under is 9.5. It's one of those things where if this game is going to go over the total, it's going to be a 10-0 Boston score. I think Toronto's going to struggle to put up runs in this game. I'm going to outright pass. Talk to me.
Not much to say. Sale's a gigantic favorite. Wagyu Spec makes his debut for his first start, I should say, for the Blue Jays. He pitched, I think, 4 innings in relief, and then went on the injured list for 10 days with a bit of shoulder irritation. So welcome back as he gets to face the Boston lineup. No, look, Sale, you can make a case Sale should be $3 here. So even at $2.70, it might be.
I think you could make the case he should be $4.
I won't go that high, but yeah, in other words, the big price being offered on the Blue Jays, I'm not interested.
Dwayne, any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, small lean to the over here. Chris Sale is Chris Sale. You don't really have to really say anything about him. The only thing is the Jays do know him well. They are division rivals, so they do get to see him quite a bit. Toronto does average 5.3 runs in home night games against lefties. While Boston hasn't faced Wagyu Spack, they do average 5.35 runs in road night games against righties. The Red Sox pen is definitely solid, but the Toronto pen can definitely be scored on, and for some late runs there. Interesting, it's the first time in Sale's career that he's been on the road, and the total has been higher than 9. And it's that high for a reason, so I'm going to lean to the over.
He's Dwayne Bryant, WagerTalk.com. My co-host, Dave Cokin, WagerTalk.com. Tampa Bay won 4 games in a row. 6, 6, 6, and 5 are the numbers they're putting up. They're playing against Baltimore. This team is a disaster. We've got Means versus Stanek on the mound. 2 good pitchers and a total of 8.5. Dave, where are you going in this one?
Well, Means is the one guy I don't like to go against on the Orioles because he's been by far their best pitcher. He's been very reliable. Talented young lefty. Stanek will open for the Rays, and then they'll do whatever they do for the rest of the game. I think Chirinos is actually due here, so they're going to it looks like Stanek opening for Chirinos the last I checked. And the Rays have gotten themselves back in the win column. They were slumping. They put 3 or 4 straight wins now. So it does appear a bit high in terms of the price. I don't know that I want to lay that much against Means, but I want no part of the Orioles in this spot, especially with the the Rays starting to roll again. So I guess even at what is a slightly inflated price in terms of value, I probably would look at Tampa anyway.
Dave, this is exactly what we spoke about last week when Means faced Clevenger at Cleveland. You pointed out this is a game Baltimore can win. Means is their best pitcher. He's actually responsible for 30-40% of their wins this year, and he goes out and pitches a gem, 13-0. So guys out there, if you want to take a super live dog, maybe a small parlay with 2 of them, I think Baltimore would be good in this spot. But I'm with you, Dave. I can't bet them. I can't bet Baltimore, and I don't see myself betting Baltimore much all year. Dwayne, any thoughts?
I would lean to the over. I know Means has some really good basic numbers, but his to see exactly why that number is where it is. I do know that he's facing a Tampa Bay offense that's averaging 6.1 runs in their home night game against lefties. The Orioles definitely lack some offense. They're only averaging 3.9 runs in road night games against righties. And while Tampa Bay's pen is okay, the Baltimore pen is just plain awful. So the Rays could get some runs late in this game as well. The one thing that keeps me off, Lance Barksdale, he's been behind the plate in Tampa Bay 21 times in his career. The under is 18-1-2 in those 21 games. And it's 14-0-2 since 2007. So a slight lean to the over, but definitely not a game that I'm going to be on.
Yeah, nor myself. Guys, you're watching First Pitch Monday to Friday at Wager Talk TV, our YouTube channel. We talk baseball. We take apart every game on the board. I want to get into the Los Angeles Angels-Texas game. Dave, we spoke about this matchup yesterday, given Tyler Skaggs' unfortunate death. And the Angels came out and looked good. They won 9-4 against Texas. We spoke about, are they going to collapse or are they going to go on a roll? I guess we'll find that out tonight. Minus 126 for the Angels, over and under 11. What do you like in this game?
I think this line will climb during the day. So if you like the Angels, you better get them early. I think there's a good chance you can see this get into the 130s eventually. It's about 126, 127 in that range right now. There's an edge on the mound with Griffin Canning against Gerardo. The Rangers are due for some regression. And I think it might be starting to show a little bit. I think they've lost 3 in a row now. The Angels getting back on the baseball field is the best thing for them at this point. It's real tough when they're not playing baseball. When the game's going on, that's where their mind is, and it can be a bit of a tonic for them. Off a win last night, I would look to come back with the Angels here.
Dwayne, any thoughts on the total?
Yeah, I would lean to the over in this one as well.
Agreed.
Canning has got a 486 road xFIP. He's facing a pretty good Ranger lineup that averages 5.35 runs in home night games against righties. Gerardo, decent home numbers. 430 xFIP isn't terrible. But the Angels, they're averaging 5.35 runs in road night games against righties. They've got the best WRC plus number in baseball against righties, which is 120. Means they're 20% above league average against right-handed pitching. Both bullpens can be had for late runs in this game, so I would lean to the over.
One note, I just completely spaced this. The Angels are going to be short-handed tonight. LaStella had to get carried off the field last time when he fouled the ball off his shin, so I would expect that he's not playing. Goodwin got hit on the hand by a pitch, and then they took him out of the game. Not a lot going right as far as that goes for the Angels right now. So I before making a move on this game, I will definitely be waiting to see what their lineup looks like. I mean, not having LaStella, that's a significant absence against the righty. I mean, he's having a great season and going to the All-Star game. So check the lineups in this one.
Great point. Clevenger versus Duffy tonight. Cleveland on the road playing Kansas City. We're going to skip, by the way, there is the Detroit-Chicago White Sox second game. We've decided we don't discuss doubleheader games. Before we get into Cleveland, Kansas City, is there anything you do want to mention about that game?
Just that Tyler Alexander will make his debut for the Tigers, and he is really excited about it. Dream come true, that type of stuff. And I will say, if the White Sox win the first game, I'm probably going to come back and play Detroit in the second game of the doubleheader.
Dwayne, do you have anything about that game you want to talk about quickly?
No, I agree. I personally don't get involved with doubleheaders. Just who's going to play when and who's going to be available from the bullpen in the second game. And, I just stay away from doubleheaders just as a rule.
Fair enough. Cleveland minus 158, 152. Over and under is 9. They're playing Kansas City. Clevenger on the mound. Man, he has really had a rough go of late. Last start, he made it 1.2 innings. Kansas City, they've lost 5 of 6. Cleveland has won 7 of 10. Dave, like always, I'll go to you first. But for me, I think the over in this game is where to put your money at.
Well, Clevenger's off a disastrous start. He had no command. The kid's a really good pitcher. But the injury situation for him this year seems to have, I think, messed with his consistency. Good news is he gets to face Kansas City tonight. That's a good chance to get back on track. The Royals, Danny Duffy, see, this is one way. If you look at Duffy in the first couple of times through the order, been pretty good. But for some reason, Ned Yost keeps leaving him in past like the 5th inning, and then he gets into trouble. It's happened, I think, in 3 different starts this year where Duffy's had a really good game going, and it just got left in too long and then blows up. And that's the problem with taking it, even looking to take a chance here with the Royals is, you might have a shot, but at some point, Duffy will probably get hit because he stays in the game too long. To me, if you're looking at the Royals here, you got to look at first five. And that's it. I'm not going to play the game, but that would be, if I were gun to head, I would take a first five shot with the Royals.
Dwayne, as I said, I like the over. Look, Kansas City is hitting the ball right now, 5-4-7-5 in their last 4 games. They're playing a pitcher who can't find his command. Cleveland put up 9 last night. I think they'll get some early runs. I think they'll get some late runs. I feel like 9's a short number.
Yeah, I lean over as well. You mentioned Clevenger having trouble with his command. He's had 4 starts this season with a 5.89 ERA overall. The xFIP is only 2.85. So I'm at some point I would like to think that he's going to see some positive regression come his way. One number that interests me about him is his left on base percentage is 46.5%. That is a very, very low number. That number is usually somewhere in the low to mid 70s on average. So I think that's got to come up at some point. Some luck come his way. Duffy, 505 xFIP at home. Cleveland hits lefties pretty well, 5.2 runs a game in road night games against lefties. The Indians' pen is solid, but the Royals' pen, like you said, is just plain bad. So the Indians should be able to score off of Duffy and the bullpen. We've got Jerry Davis behind the plate. Small over bias with him. So I'm going to lean over in this one.
Oakland hosting Minnesota. Dave, a couple of weeks ago you mentioned Minnesota. They're going to have a little bit of a regression, and I think we're seeing that right now. They lost their last 2. They've lost 4 of 5. They lost last night to Oakland 8-6. And Oakland's put together a nice little 4-game run. It's
good ball.
Sorry?
I said they're playing good ball.
Yeah. Gibson versus Fears. -112 for Minnesota. Over and under 9.5. I'm going to outright pass on this one. I hand it over to the expert.
Fiers is, and we mentioned this many times about Fiers, is a fly ball pitcher. So pitching at home at night or in Oakland is a plus for him because the ball doesn't carry really well out there at night. And a lot of those fly balls, the Twins hit a lot of fly balls, they die on the warning track or in deep outfield. On the road, Fiers is not nearly as reliable because some of those balls go out of the park. But at home, Fiers is tough. The A's are hot right now. I think you can argue a case for Oakland here.
Dwayne?
Slightly into the over. Kyle Gibson, when you have him at home, 3.77 ERA, 101 whip. But you put him on the road, it's a 4.68 ERA and a 1.46 whip. He's facing an A's lineup that's averaging 4.8 runs in home night games against righties this year. Fiers, he's got a 3.08 ERA at home, but the xFIP is 5.80. Again, I need to look into that and see why there's such a disparity there. Does he have some regression coming his way there? I don't know. He is facing a very good Twins lineup that averages 6.4 runs in road night games against righties. The over is 14-6-1 in those games. The Twins bullpen can be had. The Oakland pen, I don't know. They've got a very solid ERA, but their xFIP is among the worst in the league. So they confound me a little bit. Slightly into the over, but definitely not something I'm going to be on personally.
4 games left to go. The Yankees against the Mets. The Yankees lost last night 4-2. And Dave, you mentioned that you were worried about. Go ahead.
It's just a weird game, and I'm glad I stayed out of this game. Because, what made sense to me last night was, well, if you're going to take the Mets, take them first 5 because the Yankees have the much better bullpen. And this is why baseball can be very random because what happened last night, the Yankees won the first 5 and then their bullpen sucked. The Mets bullpen was great last night and the Mets ended up pulling out the baseball game. So, it's just weird stuff like that that'll make you scratch your head. And again, I'm really glad I stayed out of that because I would have had a loss on the Mets first 5.
I think Dave,
Go ahead, Dwayne.
All season started.
Dave, I like the Yankees tonight. Look, the Mets have won 2 in a row. Big whoop. The Yankees have won 8 of 10, 5 of 6. I think they bounce back tonight and bring this home.
I can't argue against that. I think actually it's a little cheap to me. Even I made the price like 165. Herman, of course, was not pitching nearly as well before going away for a little bit. So the Yankees will have to hope that he gets his stuff back together. Vargas is Vargas. The guy's a pain in the neck. I mean, if you watch him pitch, he just throws changeup after changeup after changeup, and you think, boy, they're going to time him and they're going to destroy him. But he's actually been pretty representative for the Mets. And the one thing that'll keep me out of the game is the Mets would love nothing better than to sweep the Yankees. That'd be the highlight of their season. What's been a dismal year for them. And they've got a chance to do it because they won the first game in the series. So it's a no play for me. I think price-wise, lean to the Yankees. Situation-wise, lean to the Mets.
Dwayne, any thoughts on this total? Mostly 10s. There are a couple of 9.5s on the board.
Yeah, again, I'm not going to get involved in this one. If I had to, I would be on the over small. Herman at home, a 2.37 ERA and a 3.39 xFIP, but on the road, he's got a 4.99 ERA and a 4.29 xFIP. The Mets are averaging 5.1 runs in home night games against righties. And Vargas, he's been, his basic numbers at home are good, 2.79 ERA, but the xFIP is 4.85. So some regression there possibly. Yankees bullpen, with last night being an exception, is usually solid. The Mets pen was good last night, but they can be had for sure. We have Marvin Hudson behind the plate. He shows a very strong over bias. And so if I had to, I would be on the over in this one.
Dave, I like Pittsburgh, Kansas City, and the Yankees on the run line for a big paying 3-team parlay. I know you don't have anything to add to that except what the hell am I talking about?
If it wins, it'll pay nicely.
Well, there you go. Throw $10 down on it. Houston against Colorado. 63% of the tickets have been written on Houston so far, but we are early. They've won 4 in a row, including a 9-8 win against Colorado. Colorado's lost 2 in a row in this game so far. And Houston's a short minus 130 with Miley on the mound. Over and under in this game is 14.5. I look forward to hearing Dwayne talk about that. That is an extremely rare number. Dave, talk to me.
I don't remember that. I'd have to check. I don't know that I've ever seen a 14.5. Well, we saw it in London, but I don't honestly recall it ever being this high in Colorado. I could be wrong on that. I don't really keep track of that stuff. Here's the thing on the Rockies. Their last 9 home games, they've averaged 9.7 runs. And in those 9 games, their record's 4-5. That's unbelievable. And you saw it again last night. Miley scares the crap out of me in this ballpark because when it's hot in that altitude, you get a fly ball pitcher, and I mean, it can go a long way. But he's not as much of a fly ball pitcher as he used to be. That's the thing. He's just become a much better pitcher later in his career. And the Astros have a little roll going. The Rockies don't have a little roll going. And one other thing to factor in, we know the Colorado bullpen. Look, the bullpens are going to come into play in this game. And they used Scott Oberg for like close to 40 pitches last night. So that takes their best setup guy out of the equation tonight. Houston did use their key bullpen pieces, but Presley had a blowaway inning. Osuna had a blowaway inning. Greg Harris had to use a lot of pitches, and I don't know how available he'll be tonight. But I think the late inning here could belong to Houston. So price is a little higher than I like it, and I don't think it's going to make my card. But I'd have to lean Astros here.
Dwayne, the opening line was 13.5. This has been bet up to 14.5. There's absolutely no way I could play that type of number. I mean, you go back and you look, yeah, sure, 9-8 yesterday, Houston win. Before that, Houston, it was 7. It's not like these teams are consistently going over 14.5. I can't take the under because of some of the points Dave mentioned. No chance I'm betting the over.
Yeah, I mean, only if my life depended on it and I had to make a totals play on this game, I would play over. I won't be playing it, obviously. Miley on the road this year, 4.94 ERA, 4.95 xFIP. Lambert does not like pitching at Coors Field. 9.95 ERA, 1.82 WHIP, and a 5.51 xFIP there. He's facing a very good Houston offense in this game. They got one of the best advanced metrics against right-handed pitching. And Colorado is averaging 7.3 runs in home night games against lefties. So, with the total this high, I looked at the SDQL database when I saw this line this morning, and there were 3 games, and I think there were no 14.5s. I think all 3 I found were 14s. All 3 of them went over the total. They were all obviously, at Coors Field. So again, I'm not going to be on it, but if I had to, I would take the over.
So would I. I mean, when you factor in the heat and the way the ball carries in that ballpark, it's almost impossible to pitch there in the summer.
Last game on the board, Seattle, winners of one of their last 5 games, hosting St. Louis, winners of one of their last 7 games. What a bad time of year for St. Louis to hit the skids. St. Louis short favorite minus 119. The over and under in this game is 9. Dave, I'll go to you first. Any thoughts in this one?
No, I think it's priced right. It's come down a little bit from the 130 to the 120, and that makes sense because Wainwright has not been good on the road, and the Cardinals are a bad baseball team right now. They look like they've lost all their swagger, and they're missing a couple of guys. Carpenter's on the DL, Ozuna's on the DL. It's just not going well for them. But do you want Mike Leake?
No.
I don't. I mean, it's just a cross-off for me. I know where you're going to go, Prez. You can make a case for the over.
Yeah, you got to.
I honestly can't disagree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think 9 is a short number here. Obviously, both these teams can put up really crappy runs. Seattle in their last, few games put up a 1-1 and 2. I just think these pitchers are going to be chased out of the game by the 4th. I think 9's a short number here, Dwayne. I like over.
Yeah, I don't really like this at all. I mean, I remember we talked about Wainwright last Wednesday also. His home road splits are, crazy. He's 2.68 ERA, 1.28 WHIP, and a 3.79 xFIP at home. But on the road where he is tonight, 6.56 ERA, 1.51 WHIP, and 4.93 xFIP. Seattle does hit righties well. And Mike Leake, yeah, he is, mediocre at best. And the Cardinals, they're not. They own subpar numbers as far as advanced metrics against righties. The 84 WRC plus means they're 16% below league average against righties. Cardinals bullpen's okay. Seattle's bullpen is a definite concern if you're an under better. There's a strong under umpire tonight. Jeremy Rehack is behind the plate. He does show a strong under bias, but too many conflicting points here for me to really have an opinion on this one.
He's Dwayne Bryant. We'll see him next Wednesday. Check back tomorrow. Dave, Cokin, myself, and Tony Finn. Thanks for watching First Pitch, everybody. Have an incredible day. Make sure to comment, share, like our YouTube videos. We all look at the comments. We try to respond. Dave, we'll see you tomorrow. Dwayne, thanks, brother.
You got it. Thanks for having me.
Ciao.